Good evening and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 14, and I'm continuing stories from the life of Buddha. Now, it was very unfortunate that mere days after he had been born, his mother Maya died. And so the Buddha, whose name was not the Buddha at that point, was raised by others than his mother. But all loved him. He was a beautiful young baby and had all those blessings and graces that, well, a young person would have after many, many incarnations of striving for liberation and knowing the truth. He was named Siddhartha, which meant one whose dreams are fulfilled, dreams and desires. A good name, a name we could all wish for, really. Now, Suddhodana, his father, had heard all the prophecies that he would either become a great ruler or that he would become Buddha Gautama. Now, Suddhodana wanted nothing more than his son to follow in his footsteps and become a great leader. This is what he wished for. And he tried to do everything within his power to keep Siddhartha sheltered, to be very careful of what Siddhartha saw in the world, because Suddhodana did not want Siddhartha to be turned away from the world. Suddhodana wanted Siddhartha to enjoy it so much that he would not, leave the palace, leave the city, and go off to the forest to be an ascetic. Now, Siddhartha was showered with the most luxurious life. No matter what the weather was, what season it was, Siddhartha always had a place to go where he could be in comfort. When it was the hottest days of summer, he walked through the palaces that were made of marble and cool to the touch, and cool the air. When it was raining, he had beautiful palaces to reside within. And when it was cold, there was always a fire somewhere to get close to and warm up. He was given the best of foods, presented with the best of teachers who could impart to him knowledge. And when he came of age, he was married and had a wife. Now, it turned out that at one point in time, he wanted to, know more than this sheltered life that he was living. And now, he had been exposed to a lot, but even things that his father really didn't want him to. For instance, when he was wandering out in the gardens, it was on more than one occasion that he watched a snake gobble down a frog. Many times he had watched falcons come blazing down from the heights to take the life of a pigeon for its meal. He'd seen these things, and he'd wondered about it, how life can be so quickly transformed to death. Wanting to see more than the palace, he went to the king's charioteer. Shana was his name. And he asked Shauna, could we please go drive through the city on the chariot? For I would like to see how my people are living. And I think that I do not see that, well, contained within these walls. Shauna said, certainly. We will go tomorrow. Let me make preparations. Now, of course, Shauna went to King Suddhodana. And King Suddhodana and his new queen, Prajapati, this was the day that they had been dreading. They had worried all along that Siddhartha would one day want to know more, that he would want to know the truth about the world he was living in. Suddhodana called, well, for great measures to be taken before Channa and Siddhartha would go riding off on the chariots in the morning. He had messengers go to the villages and let them know that their town, their village, was to look very different than normal. There were to be no old or decrepit people out in the streets, only young people. The streets would be strewn with flower petals. There were to be wreaths of flowers made and hung throughout the city. Banners were to be flying. Everyone that was out in the streets was to be happy. King Suddhodana did not want Siddhartha to see anything that would make him wonder. Okay, we'll stop the story there. See what happens next tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day or evening.